Good evening, everyone. Uh, we are Agent Smith and Trips, and we are here to present the Season 58 SMJHL Awards. Trips, you want
Yeah.
to introduce yourself?
Yep, it's great to be here. I am HHH81, aka Trips, aka Darrow, aka that one asshole. I go by many names on the site. Long time. I am now the retired J Awards head. I did it for a good long time, and last season, at the last second, had to jump in and host the award show. Liked it enough, I decided to come back.
Excellent, excellent. Well, tonight we're going to be honoring Quebec City and Kelowna and Anchorage, and I guess some other people might win something, but probably not. Uh, um, And as a reminder to everyone, we're going to provide some background on these nominations and the reasonings and a little bit of background on each award. We understand that who you want to win may not win or even be nominated, but please remember this is a celebration of these players, their accomplishments, and the league. So just be kind and help us recognize all that they've done this season to make the SMJHL as great as it is. We'll also be
Absolutely.
welcoming in Jert onto the show a little bit later to talk about All Stars and the All Rookie team.
Hopefully, it's much less controversial than the events of earlier today and All-Star teams.
That's right. That's right.
With that, we got two other important announcements before we get started. As
Yep.
In past years, we had one of the hosts know what's going on and the other one have no clue who won.
That's
And
right.
this year, the shoe is on the other foot, and I don't know who won these awards. So this is
That's
going to
right.
be fun to be in that role.
Yep. Yeah. Well, we're gonna be surprising you and the rest of the viewers today.
Yeah,
I'm hopefully I'm as prepped as can be to be a good host.
sure. And then
Um,
one other thing from the infidel era we wanted to keep on. Agent Smith, what are you drinking tonight?
I am drinking a hard cider from Blake's Hard Cider Company called Triple Jam.
Nice.
It's pretty sweet, sweeter than I was hoping, but it's still pretty tasty. So, and how about
Delicious.
yourself?
I'm again going to my old standby, New Glarus Spotted Cow. Super
Oh,
drinkable, delicious,
love
and
Spotted Cow.
gotta rock some good Wisconsin.
That's right, that's right. All right, we're ready to get into it.
Let's do it.
Alrighty, we're gonna start tonight with the regular season team awards. Big shout out to Quebec City, winning the 4-Star Cup. They played out of their minds this season, an absolutely dominant performance, taking the Eastern Championship as well. Anchorage Armada showing up and taking the Western Champs. And the Lorifer Trophy going to Kelowna with an absolutely incredible 53 win, 10 loss, and 3 overtime loss season for a total of 109 points.
Yeah. Huge shout out to these three teams. Quebec City winning the cup is really a culmination of the 4 seasons that Phalanx and Evoc have put in since they got their expansion team. Great work. Couldn't happen to better people. Anchorage, it's fun to see that. Well, it's not fun to see them back because they're the inferior boat gang to the greatness that is Seattle.
That's right.
But Gabe and Ware have been doing a great job since taking over last season, and back-to-back finals appearances isn't much to sneeze at. And,
Yep, absolutely incredible from them.
yeah, and Kath and Nausu, like they've been steadily building a great contender. I gave them a lot of hype last season. They didn't get as much awards recognition as they probably were hoping, but just steadily doing good shit. And this
Yep.
season,
And they're both stepping down this season? Can I
no,
No,
Kath,
just Kath, and he went
yep,
up to
Calgary,
Calgary. That's right.
yep, and they hired Nausu to take over, and he just
That's right.
announced
Well,
that.
congratulations to Nausu.
And congratulations to the new assistant GM that I saw them he posted, and I cannot remember the name right now. It's
Maybe somebody can mention it in chat, and we'll go from
yeah,
there.
yeah, it's
All right.
one.
On to the individual awards. We're going to start out with the Jared Hansen, the scoring champ of the season. Mewtwo, congratulations, Eagle, from Quebec City, racking up 69 points on the season. Nice. Um, just an absolutely incredible season from Mewtwo.
Yeah, like great season. He felt disrespected last season, not getting more hype, and this year he put his detractors to shame with just blowing it up.
Yep.
And then
And we are moving on to the Roberto Martucci Award, the goal leader, Kenwyl Pierce Schmurf from Kelowna, with a very impressive 43 goals on the season.
Yeah. Not much you can beat. He led the not this season, but last season, he led the charge for Kelowna and was sort of an underrated kind of player. I thought he was MVP caliber, and this year he absolutely exploded offensively, so it's exciting to see that.
Yep, absolutely. And then we actually have a tie for the Ronan O'Keefe Award, the playoff points champion. We have Tres Sombreros, El Gringo from Quebec City, and we have Pavel Salvatici, Jetbox from Anchorage, both with 16 points. What's a little bit more impressive is that Tres Sombreros got these 16 points in one less series because Anchorage had to play in and Quebec City had the bye. So
Yeah.
great showing from both of these people, but just a little bit more impressive from El Gringo.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll see those names later on in the show.
It's entirely possible.
And then
and last but not least, we have the Matt Lewis Flood Trophy, which is the top team save percentage. And that goes to Chim Contendi and Kojo Murata, the Ragnar and J Mels from Anchorage, and just a mind-blowing 920 save percentage on the season. Just absolutely incredible.
It wasn't close. I looked at the math after. It wasn't close for that one. They were just on another level.
Yep. I want to say the next highest single goalie save percentage was 920. And so, like, just to have that team average be that high is just, it's that nobody else was even close. So, congratulations to them. All right, anything else on this page?
No. Let's jump into our first award, the Alex Light
award. Here we go, the Alex Light Trophy, the Most Improved Player. So we have these three nominations. We have Rick Charlesworth from Newfoundland. We have Sean Gates from the Maine Timber, and we have none other than Mewtwo from Quebec City. Some stats from each of these guys. We'll start at the top. Rick Charlesworth, last season, he had 5 goals and 13 assists, was minus 24, had 96 shots on goal, 46 hits, 53 shot blocks, and an average of 14:59 time on ice. So you can look at the stats on screen are from this season, so you can see the improvement there.
Yeah. Newfoundland was really, really bad last season.
Yes, they were.
But they drafted pretty well, got some good contributors from young guys that were able to step up into bigger roles this year. And Charlesworth is definitely a guy just like that.
Yep. A lot of the jump for Rick Charlesworth, noted by the committee, was that he went from almost no power play and shorthanded time to close to like 4 or 5 minutes of power play time on like a night. It was just absolutely insane of how much non 5v5 time that he got.
Right.
So an absolutely incredible increase given the time on ice increase that he had as well. Next is Sean Gates from Maine. Last season he had 7 goals, 23 assists, was plus 16, had 11 power play points, 160 shots on goal, 107 hits, and 62 shots blocked. So really the big opener here is his massive increase in shots blocked, while keeping about the same amount of points. Never mind his terrible plus minus, but plus minus is a terrible stat to look at anyway. So
sure. Especially because Maine went from a decent team last year to just they're having a rebuilding season. Toast was given a rough hand to play with and rebuilding that team. But
Oh yeah.
Gates was heavily used as an offensive player in his first year and given some more sheltered minutes. Coming into this season, he had to carry a much larger defensive role, especially with there's some scrub defenseman that played a lot of defensive minutes for Maine for the last decade that went up to San Francisco. I don't know the guy's name.
Oh man, it's I don't know. I can't think of anybody like that.
But yeah, Gates had to step up and be a number one defenseman. So it's really impressive to see him keep the same sort of offensive game that he had the year before with about 3 extra minutes of time on ice, half of that being purely shorthanded.
Yep.
So definitely impressive to see him round out, but some of that huge spike in shots blocked are probably coming back to Maine getting peppered every single night.
Yep, absolutely. And last but not least, we have Mewtwo from Quebec City. His last season stats were 7 goals and 11 assists. He was +7, had 17 penalty minutes, 61 shots on goal, and an average of 853 time on ice. So just looking at the comparison of those stats, he skyrocketed in production offensively and had an incredible increase on shots, actually lowered his penalty minutes, and also almost doubled his time on ice.
For sure. Let me put this into perspective. Nevada's top scorer, Ravo Helmanen, had 47 points. Colorado's top scorer had 35 points. Mewtwo increased his point total by 51 off his rookie season.
Yep, absolutely insane growth from rookie to sophomore season. And if you think about it, as a sophomore, he was capped at 350 TPE.
Right.
Like that's not even as a 425 TPE player was he that much improved.
Right. And yep. I'm pretty sure Gates is a second-year player. Is Charlesworth also a 350 player?
I believe so.
So yeah.
But I'm not sure.
Yeah, but that's not to take anything away from you two, but just in comparison, all 3 of these made some pretty big jumps.
Yep. Do you have a prediction for who's going to win?
I think it's got to be Mewtwo. Like 51-point jump is insane.
Yep. Yeah, I would agree with that. All right, and here we go. Congratulations to Mewtwo from Quebec City for winning the Alex Light Trophy. Very, very, very well earned because it's just, I don't know if we've ever seen, at least in recent memory, an increase that large from rookie to sophomore season.
Yeah, there aren't words. So congrats to Ziegel.
Yep. Alrighty. On to the next one. Here we have the Zach Miller Trophy for most dedicated. Stats aren't important in this one. This is all about the
contribution
user and how dedicated they are to the site.
Yeah.
Yep. Measured in locker room presence and media and how much they're helping their team. Are they in a war room? That kind of thing. So it's there's a lot of different things that factor into here. Our first nominee is Drunken Teddy, whose player is Luke Bluin from Vancouver. Second nomination is your awards head, Matt Smith from Quebec City. And the last nomination is Sopath, Basso Bigbers from Newfoundland. I have a feeling that for the next 3 seasons, Drunken Teddy's a name you're going to be seeing here basically every season because he's a site owner and the amount of work that he puts in on the back end is astronomical.
Yeah. And with the dev team's announcement today, that's certainly...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If you haven't seen it, go look at the new index that was put on the site. It is absolutely gorgeous. I have to give a huge shout out to everyone that worked on that. No matter what, if you had, you put in 5 minutes of work or if you put in, a year of worth of work, it just looks absolutely incredible. And thank you guys so much for putting that work in.
Luke, Grock, Kenvald, E. Silver.
Yep.
Drunken Teddy. Anyone else that's involved. Thank you for thank you for making that pretty thing. I know it's a work in progress, but it's definitely great to see.
Yep.
So yeah. So that's really the long and the short of Teddy's nomination, is the fact that, I mean, he's an owner on the site, runs the development team, does so much on the back end to help the site running that it's hard to beat Teddy.
Yep.
That I'm waiting for the day that there's going to be a Robert Phelps trophy in one of the leagues for his contribution to the site. It's inevitable. I said that 5 seasons ago. It's going to happen.
Yep, I would agree. Our other 2 nominations, Matt Smith, Mateo is now the awards committee head. And one of the notes I have from the committee is that he's stepping into some difficult role here, and apparently that last guy who was running was a big pain. So I don't know what you have to say about that, Trips, but
yeah, definitely he's been a big earner, and he stepped into a really difficult role. We were having a really hard time getting anyone to apply, and I had a conversation with him because I thought, of anyone on the committee, he was probably one of the better ones set up after the person I was most excited to have take over decided to go take a different job. Zhert. But no, he's been doing a great job and taking it over, and I've been trying to help behind the scenes to get him going, but he's really making it his own, just trying to do the best he can to keep it up. It's a very difficult job. Sometimes you get GMs or other users in your DMs screaming at you because their guy didn't win it. And
Yep, and there's always a base level of salt when it comes to awards, because everyone has their guy.
Of course.
And obviously you want to see your guy win, so yeah, as the hosts, all we can say is, take it easy. We're all human. So our last nominee, Sopath, from what I've seen, he is always pumping out media. Like, I don't know if I've seen a week go by where he hasn't put out 2 or 3 pieces, and they're all incredible quality.
For sure.
He, from what I've seen in the notes here, he's always active in the Newfoundland locker room. So that's pretty big as well. Is you gotta keep, and as also rumor says, Newfoundland's locker room is one of the busiest for the site. So having a leadership role in there and always being active in there is just more on the pile. So
yeah, for sure. One of the nominees, in their justification for including Sopath, one committee member said, people who are in the locker room with him absolutely glow about him. He is incredibly active both on the forums and on Discord. Speaking of forum activity, he writes game recaps for his team, and you can't look at the SMJHL media section without seeing his name everywhere. So he's been doing good stuff. We love to see a media hoe.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's not just like word vomit either. It's good media,
it's quality stuff.
Yeah, which is it's getting a little bit more rare these days, but it's always good to see that kind of that work put in. So, do you have any guesses for who's going to win?
I do. If it was me, especially with in hindsight, the committee didn't know that Teddy was going to drop the big bombshell he did today.
Right.
I have a hard time going against Teddy, but I'm thinking with what I've seen and trying to recognize other users, and the goal of the J is really to recognize those newer users, I feel like it's probably Sopath, but my vote's probably for Teddy, just because it's, even if you want to recognize newer users, it's Teddy.
Right. Right, and yeah, you have to remember that these votes were submitted and counted before the index dropped today, so that was not taken into account. If the show was on Friday and the ballots were being counted today or being submitted today, I guarantee you that would be part of it, but it's not. So I have to say congratulations to Sopath from Newfoundland winning the Zach Miller this year. Congratulations, Sopath.
Yeah. And on that note, a little leak for SHL Awards. Their voting for most dedicated was also done after this announcement. So
There you go.
The index is not going to be factored into that decision. Please limit the salt at us. We can't predict the future.
That's right. That's right. We knew it was coming, but we didn't know when. So.
Right.
Alrighty.
Still,
on
all three.
to the next one.
For sure.
Now we have the Nor Herak Award for the best GM duo, and our nominees are Kath and Nausu from Kelowna, Evok and Phalanx from Quebec City, and Namlet and Juke from Newfoundland. What do you have to say about these guys' trips?
Oh, I've got plenty to say. As a reminder for any newer users, a couple seasons ago, we changed it to be a 3-year window for consideration. That was in order to not show the GMing is not a one-season thing. It really takes a process. I think all three of these reflect that really well. As I said at the top of the show, Evok and Phalanx they took over a brand new roster, like literally starting a brand new franchise 4 seasons ago. And this was the culmination of all that. Voting was done not based on playoffs, but I mean, in the end, they did win. They put up back-to-back outstanding seasons, dominating the Eastern Conference.
That's right.
Roster full of actives, great members. So all in all, there's very little that you can take away from Evok and Phalanx. They won it last season, but they followed up finishing second place to Kath and Nausu because they've just they don't get a lot of awards attention in previous seasons. They just consistently bring it every season.
Yep.
They had it down. I think it was S56 was down for them, like a really bad one, but 55, which didn't count for this, 57, 58 have all been real good. They had a double-digit win improvement over the last 3 seasons, just really building this up. They led the J by 9 points. Which QCC was as deep as any team we've almost ever seen since the inevitable Detroit squad of early FHM.
Right. Yeah. To see as how dominant Quebec City was, and then to look at the points and say Kelowna was 9 points ahead of them in the standings, is just that's Kelowna just absolutely dominated their conference, and it's impressive to see really that the win improvement. Not only was it double-digit wins over the past 3 seasons, it was double-digit win improvement each of the past 3 seasons. Right. So they went from being one of the worst teams in the league 2 seasons ago to now being the top team in the league points-wise, which is just incredible growth. Good drafting, good player retention, making sure people are updating, good coaching. It's just absolutely incredible what they've done.
And some of it comes down to luck.
Absolutely.
The J is so cyclical that you're going to have those down seasons and then pulling back up. Which brings us to Newfoundland. Namlet and Juke, their predecessors left them a barren roster that just got absolutely destroyed last season.
Yep. And
in their 2 seasons at the helm, they've really turned around and built Newfoundland back up. Sort of flip positions with Maine in that role, but found a way to do a quick rebuild and really jump in. So
and one of the things I have to shout out about Newfoundland is their drafting is always just phenomenal. They know how to find those, the needle in the haystack, those diamonds in the rough that are just, nobody really, you're like, oh yeah, this guy could be really good, and then they're a star the next season. Just absolutely great ability to scout, to rebuild, to draft. It's unfortunate that they were behind one of the most dominant teams in the FHM era this season in Quebec City, because in any other division, I feel like they would have, other than maybe Kelowna's division, they would have finished first in their division. But you're a little bit overshadowed by how strong Quebec City has been. So it's definitely good to see them on here because they've done an incredible job.
Right. And I also want to shout out a 4th team that got some votes but wasn't enough to be a finalist. Wearing a bear is the best co-GM in the league to cancel out how terrible Gabe Johnson is.
That's right. But Anchorage has been, a lot of people will be like, they've only been GMs for 2 seasons, and last season they were handed a team that was ready to go win a cup. right? But
Mhm.
even then, like, they had a bunch of people go up this past season, and they still made the finals.
Yeah.
You know, they battled their way. They battled their way all the way from the beginning. They didn't get a bye. They had to win
No.
in, and so the fact that they made the finals is very, very good.
Yeah. So,
Do you have a vote for your winners?
as great as Newfoundland is, I feel like it's between QCC and Kelowna. If I was voting, I probably would have gone Kelowna just because it's the culmination, but that's not to take anything away from Evoc and Phalanx. They're also amazing. It's just
Yeah.
this one,
Uh,
I feel like this one should have been a close one, but it may not have been.
I think it was pretty close, but in the end, Kath and Nausu, congratulations. You have won the Norharak Award. Congratulations. It
Ooh,
definitely shows in the work that you've put in. And again, congratulations.
very nice.
Alrighty, on to the next one. We have the Brandon Holmes Trophy for top defensive forward. Our three nominees are Victor Fedorov from St. Louis, Limo Pill from Anchorage, and Eero Makinen Jr. from Colorado.
For sure. Yeah.
We'll
This,
start it at the top with Fedorov.
yeah. I mean, the stats sort of speak for themselves. Wasn't the most physical player on a retooling St. Louis squad, but 59 hits is solid. 29 giveaways was up there for forwards and players in general.
Mm-hmm.
Or not giveaways, sorry. The 44 takeaways was up there. Sorry,
Yeah,
I meant the
absolutely.
wrong thing. Over 100 shots blocked, played a good amount of time. I'm trying to remember how much he played on the penalty. Yeah. He played a minute 45 on a penalty kill each night. So really, and he had some really good advanced stats
Mm-hmm.
for the season. An almost even goals for per 60 and goals against per 60, which when you're on a team that's not the strongest, especially in the J,
Yep.
that looks a little more impressive
Yeah,
than it would
absolutely.
otherwise.
Absolutely. His shot blocking is impressive. Not the most in this group, but over 100 for a forward is a lot.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I looking at my notes, he was third amongst forwards in takeaways. Then his plus 15 was up there amongst all, like for different takeaway giveaway differential. So
Yep.
those are things you like to see.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, and he kept it relatively clean.
Yeah,
He has the most penalty minutes out of this group. But 22 really isn't a lot over a 66 game season.
yeah, it's not terrible,
Yep.
especially for someone who has to play a lot of shorthanded time.
Right. Exactly. Um, Then we move on to Limo Pill from Anchorage. He was good, but his stats, according to some of the committee, his stats look inflated because Anchorage roster was very bad possession-wise. So him
Those are my
getting
notes. But by the way, those are my notes.
oh, are they?
Yeah, the blue is my notes.
Oh, good to know.
Those are my summaries. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. This was a weird finalist for me. His numbers are good, but half of Anchorage's roster, with having a lot of people graduate being rookies, were really, really bad. So it made his relative advanced stats look really good.
Mm-hmm.
But still, 83 hits, minute 22 shorthanded time on ice. They're not bad, but I think there's some other people
Yeah,
that I would have had as a finalist instead.
I would agree.
Specifically, want to shout out William Salming for QCC had 40 takeaways and was a plus 27 on, I think that's a plus 27 on takeaways, not on, 66 hits, minute and a half shorthanded time on ice. He put up some good offense, which wasn't for this award, but he was really one of the team's defensive stoppers as a fourth-year pro.
Right.
I think Salming's a great one. And then Anaheim's Capo Kampanen had 48 takeaways that I'm pretty sure led all forwards. I don't have that in front of me. But he had a he only had 12 giveaways, so he had 4 takeaways to every giveaway is insane. And his counting stats were pretty solid. So
Right.
So that's really impressive numbers. Not to take it away, and even Lemo Pill said it himself, like, "Hey, thanks, but I think I was better than last season."
Right. Which, the awards committee does look at last season, but not as much for an award like this.
Right.
So it's definitely, you as a player may remember how you performed last season, but the committee really only looks this season for everything other than most improved.
Right.
So.
Right.
And last on our list, but definitely not least, is Eero Makinen Jr. from Colorado.
McGriddles, what a guy. I mean, the numbers sort of talk for themselves.
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
It's rare to see a fourth-year player, 425 build, be relied on and used as a defensive stopper, especially on a team that had a bunch of rookie forwards in Colorado.
Yep.
But he played almost 2 minutes shorthanded tonight for Colorado, had 119 shot blocks, 31 takeaways, and only 4 penalty minutes on the season.
Yeah,
so
that's incredible. With the amount of hits that he had, the amount of the shots and everything else that he had, only 4 penalty minutes it's astounding. Like, he played so clean.
Yeah. Is he as clean as Andre Kostitsyn?
Is anyone as clean as him? It's hard to say.
That's fair, but yeah. So for me, yeah, Makinen had an amazing. I think this is between Makinen and Fedorov. I think they both had great seasons. But before you can ask me what I think this is Makinen's award.
And I think the committee agrees with you. Congratulations to Eero Makinen Jr. from Colorado for winning the Brandon Holmes this season. Very, very well deserved.
Yes. For anyone who said that I was ever claimed favoritism for me for Colorado when I was head, how long has it been since a Colorado player won an award? It's been a while. I don't know how or why, but it's just funny. And then I leave and they give an award to one of the...
Hey, that's right. Well, he definitely earned it. So.
Oh, I agree with that one. Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. And we're on to the Ron Bolt Trophy, awarded to the most sportsmanlike player. Our finalists for this are Bjorn Jacobson from Quebec City, Eero Makinen Jr. again from Colorado, Matty Sandin from Newfoundland, and Jesse Sepinen from Maine, the Maine Timber.
I'm not looking at the chat, but I'm sure Seven is in there complaining about how stupid this award
is. He's actually not, at least not that I've seen. So yeah. I'm sure he would be if he could be. Yes. Before being part of this, I had no idea what this award was given for.
For sure.
And after seeing some of the reasoning given by the committee, it seems to me that this award is given to players who are aggressive in their play style, but take very few penalty minutes, which theoretically describes sportsmanlike in that they're a clean player, right? As someone who looks at real life and says, what is someone who's sportsmanlike look like to you? It's what they do not only on the ice, but how do they act with their opponents off the ice as well? Are they, always aggressive towards whoever they're playing? Are they always, chippy? Are they always, on social media? Well, we really don't have that aside from Twitter in the SHL, right? So it's hard to judge what sportsmanlike means, and it means something different to everybody, right? So
because in your own locker room there might be super nice guys that are consummate professionals, but we're not seeing that across the league as often. So I know some of that comes in here, but it's more of what you're saying, or people who are playing significant amounts of minutes and playing clean. We've had people who have been maybe not a most physical player, but elite offensive players and not taking penalties. Because when I took over, there were some committee members who were like, "Oh, that person played 10 minutes a night and had no penalties. I'm gonna vote for him." And I was like, "Is that really sportsmanlike?" aren't playing a lot of time.
Right. Yep.
The
And
committee has
if we look at all the time on ice here, the lowest that we have is from Eero Makinen, who has just over 16 minutes average. The rest of them, we have two people close to 20 minutes. We have one person at 21 minutes.
right.
So they're all playing a lot of time, and for all of them to be at 6 or under penalty minutes, if that's what we're going by,
Yep.
it's impressive to say the least. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a tough one to talk about.
Sure. What I've noticed, and that's probably my influence from the last however many seasons I ran the committee, this award has tended to really like number one defensemen who play in all situations and play a clean game.
Yep.
Which I don't think is wrong, but it's always good to look at and make sure that you're not getting tunnel vision and just making an award what it's not.
Right. And we see we have a nice balance here. We have two defensemen and two wingers.
Yeah.
So it's not super biased towards defensemen this year.
Sure.
But who do you think out of this list is going to win?
Oh. I could see either Matty Sandin for Newfoundland playing that number one defenseman role, only only 4 penalties, playing in all situations for Newfoundland, or Makinen again. Like we stand a defensive stopper who can do it clean. But
right.
I'm thinking it could be either of them. I'm gonna go with Sandin, but I'd love to see Makinen win it both times.
And with with over 21 minutes average a night, it's hard to give it to anyone else other than Sandin, and the committee would agree with you. Congratulations to Matty Sandin from Newfoundland. You are this season's Ron Bolt Trophy winner. And with that, we are on to the next one. The
This
Alexis
is where it gets
Metzler.
Spicy.
Yes.
Spicy time.
The Alexis Metzler Trophy, Best Defensive Defenseman. In my opinion, they do not get enough recognition during the season, especially during MVP voting or best player. Like all that conversation doesn't really bring in the defensive defenseman because they're not scoring points, right? You look at
Right.
These nominees, and all of them have, except for Gates, all of them have less than 30 points, which, while that's it's a decent amount, but it's not anything impressive, right? Because they're playing on the other end of the ice.
Right. Yeah.
So Gates, our first nominee, plays for the Maine Timber. We have Vili Tuga and Jean-Luc Zidane from Anchorage. What do we have to say about each of these guys?
Sure. A lot of the arguments, I'll go high level and then start critiquing. Sean Gates, he led the league with 191 shots blocked. He was 21st in hits with 127, and was just all around pretty good. He suffers from being on a bad team, which also inflates some of those counting stats, because if you're on a bad team, you're gonna have to block more shots.
Yep.
Yeah. Jean-Luc Zidane was 4th in hits. 230 hits, was 4th in the league. 39 takeaways. His advanced stats were pretty average, but he played in all situations and had over a minute shorthanded time on ice. So solid little season. And then Vili Tuga Boatu was that we had a tie last season. It came down to a tiebreaker that took him away. He only got even better this year. He had some of the best per 60 advanced stats on Nevada. 127 hits, was 12th in the league, 7th among defensemen. He was second by 1 to Sean Gates for shots blocked.
Yep.
Played almost 2 minutes shorthanded, 48 takeaways. He was a dominant defensive force. So
he really
love
was.
To see him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what's impressive about all these guys is their time on ice totals. Each and every one of them played more than 20 minutes a night.
Right.
And Gates was just over 24 minutes a night, which is just an insane amount of hockey.
Yeah,
I bet you Toast is very happy that his stamina is where it's at.
for sure.
Um, I think that he had a very impressive season, but being on Maine again, one of the worst team in the league this season,
Right.
his numbers are inflated because they just couldn't keep control of the puck. They were facing, upwards of 60 shots a night. It's one of those
Right.
things that's like, yeah, you had the most shot blocks, but only by one, and you faced way more shots than Nevada did. So, um, definitely props
Yeah.
to Gates, and it'll be interesting to see what
Yeah.
he does this coming
Sure.
season if he's down again. I can't remember if he's going to be down again.
Yeah.
Or if he goes up to the SHL. I think he's going to have a
Yeah.
fantastic career, as long as
Right.
he's not a second goalie again.
Right. Now here's where I am going to come for the committee's neck a little bit.
Yep,
Jean-Luc Zidane does not deserve to be a finalist.
I would agree with that.
I was surprised to see him get in there over people like Jimmy, who was tied for first in takeaways, and a bunch of other stuff. But 7 players in the league this season: Jonas Kaspari, and then defenseman Lonnie O'Donoghue, Zebulon Levitt, Sean Gates, Vili Tugatuga Boatu, Terrence Smith, and Jimmy. Only 7 players had over 100 hits on 100 blocked shots. I found that an interesting stat. And I think Zebulon Levitt is an interesting one to see. He got a couple votes, but not enough. His first couple of seasons, he was an absolute advanced stats darling. His advanced stats were a lot weaker this season, but he still was playing over 21 minutes a night, minute and a half shorthanded, and all those other things.
Right.
I was also surprised to see Kelowna had a great defensive duo of Michael Scotch and Farley Hank,
Yep.
not getting more love.
Yep.
I would
agree.
say that Scotch had over 100 or had 100 hits, 40 takeaways, 82 shots blocked, over 2 minutes shorthanded on a dominant contending team.
Yep.
And Farley Hank's numbers are very close as well. Scotch actually played the 9th most shorthanded minutes of the entire league on the best team in the league.
Yep.
Yep. So if it was me, I would probably have Levitt or Scotch in there, and probably I would have Scotch in there over Zidane, but alongside Tugatuga, Boatu, and Gates.
Yep. I think in defense of the committee, I think what stood out to them was the number of hits that Zidane had. 230 hits is a very large number of hits. And yeah, he took 92 penalty minutes, which is way more than either of the other 2 nominees.
Yeah.
But he's still, he was a force. You better watch out if you're coming into their zone, because he's gonna, shove you into the boards and try and take the puck, right? So
why not Boris Petrov then? Dude
right,
had
exactly.
346 hits.
Yeah, hits is not the best way to look at this. So yeah, just saying that he has 230 hits is like, okay, well, yeah, Boris Petrov won, 15 fights. Why isn't he on here? Right. So, yeah, definitely some interesting choices made by the committee.
Right.
Who do you think, out of then Sean Gates and Tugatuga Boatu, do you think wins this award?
Last season, Tugatuga Boatu wasn't on my ballot. I overlooked him. I slept on him. This season, there's no doubts. I think it should be Tugatuga Boatu, and I think it should be I think personally it should be near unanimous.
I
him on
definitely.
first place.
I don't have the vote counts in front of me,
Sure.
But I want to say he won by a pretty large margin.
Yep.
And yeah, so our winner this year of the Alexis Metzler is Vili Tugatuga Boatu from Nevada. Congratulations to him.
Woo.
Alrighty. On to the next one. Tequila
My favorite
Agate.
award.
That's
favorite
right.
award.
That's right. Best defenseman. We have Jasper Maximov from Quebec City, Robert Feltersnatch from Kelowna, and Evangelos Giannopoulos from Detroit.
Yeah.
We'll start with Maximov. He was second in points among defensemen with 44, which is a large number for a defenseman. However, he also played for Quebec City, who were just a scoring machine this season.
Right.
So like his advanced stats were okay, not great, but he played well. But again, you have to look at he played for Quebec City, so how much of this was just Quebec City's defense being incredible,
Yes.
right?
Well, he lost his Taylor Petrov as his partner last year, and
Yep.
Petrov really was able to be that shutdown guy. Maximov is what Maximov is. An outstanding offensive defenseman, probably the best pure offensive defenseman in the J right now.
Yep.
And he did that well. And so while he was on a great team, he also really can help push play and carry the puck, even if he doesn't necessarily put it all in as early career Erik Karlsson. And then you've got Felter Snatch, who's a little bit more of a all around that consummate number one two-way defenseman.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and an impressive 21 minutes a night on the ice with 214 shots on goal, which is forward level number of shots. So
yeah. He didn't block a lot of shots, but when you're playing on a team that's carrying the puck all the time, you don't necessarily need to block a lot of shots if
and
your goalie isn't seeing shots.
Exactly, yeah. From what I've heard, Phalanx built Quebec City to be a puck possession team, and you can see it in the numbers. Like, a defenseman that only has 50 shots blocked, 33 hits, he may be built as an offensive defenseman, but when you always have the puck, it's those numbers don't come, right? So Felter Snatch had a very impressive season. Only 8 penalty minutes, 206 shots on goal. Here we have 129 hits, which is very good. A little bit fewer shot blocks, but more time on ice than either of our other two nominations.
Yeah. He did a little bit of everything, and that's who I was saying. Didn't really block shots, but didn't really have to block shots with Hank and Scotch really being good shutdown guys for Kelowna.
Yep.
He just was able to do a little bit of everything to help push that Kelowna team along, and 35 assists is real impressive, especially for a defenseman in the J.
Yep, so. And Felter Snatch played on both the power play and the penalty kill, which is something that Maximov did not do. So it's something to take into account as well. Maybe a little bit inflated time on ice because of that. So
maybe.
His advanced stats were also very, very good. So something to keep in your mind.
Yeah.
Giannopoulos.
Yeah. I'm guessing he led all defensemen with 16 goals. I'm not 100% sure of that, but had a solid little season.
Mm-hmm.
Some good stats. Pretty decent per 60. Goals against, shots against. So some good offense, had some decent defense.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking through when I was doing my notes to try to figure out, because I was like, he didn't jump off the page for me last season as a voter, even though other people voted for him. He doesn't really impress me that much this season, but there wasn't really someone standing another standout person after Maximov and Felter Snatch. So I was like, that works.
Right.
JSS, part of it, we can say part of it could be part of JSS having a really good pedigree, but
yep.
Giannopoulos had a good season.
Yeah. So out of these three, who do you think takes the trophy?
Felter Snatch. I think Maximov. QCC is not going to like that, but I think the committee is looking at and likes that holistic defenseman versus just putting offense. And even then, Maximov is a great offensive defenseman, but Felter Snatch was better.
Yep.
Put up almost as many shots, a couple more points.
Yep.
So
Maximov was second in defenseman scoring. Felter Snatch was first. So you see that.
Yep.
And so you think Feltersnatch takes it?
I think Feltersnatch takes it, but Maximov had another really great season. And when you put
Yep.
up numbers like that and with the comparison, you deserves to be here for sure.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the committee agrees that Feltersnatch deserves it, and he is the Kilo Gante Trophy winner this season. Congratulations to Robert Feltersnatch from Kelowna.
I'm starting to wonder if people in the chat think I've seen these results when I genuinely haven't.
A lot of it feels like a lot of them weren't like all the nominations, all of these people deserve to be here, absolutely. But there's almost always someone that stands above the rest.
Right.
And the committee, I think, this year did a good job of finding that person.
Right.
Whereas in the seasons past, you've had, 2 or 3 people that are like, oh yeah, every single one of these guys could win. And then the committee has a decision to make, like
Fala last season.
Split. Right.
Ideen Fala last season, which was far less close than I expected it to be after our discussion. I really thought it was going to be tight, and
yep,
Zach ran away with it.
Yep. The Cedric Robinson Trophy, the best goalie. Is there someone that you're surprised isn't on this list?
No, I think those should be the top 3. I know some people think Matt Smith should be here, but Matt Smith was not the reason that QCC was as good as they are.
I would agree with that. Yeah, he was the goalie behind a team that was dominant in puck possession, in scoring. He didn't face a lot of shots, so I definitely think that these 3 deserve it. Yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
I think 2 of them are their team's MVP, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Colorado had such a balanced attack this season, and Rosejack wasn't very good his last season, but this year really came on, and he got a couple of votes for most improved as well.
Yep.
He played more games than I think he played the most He had the most starts of any goalie in the league, and those numbers are pretty solid.
Yes, absolutely. A 919 save percentage, very, very good. 5 shutouts.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then there's Tendy and Vertigo.
Right. Yeah, Tendy with a 927 save percentage, 8 shutouts, a 211 GAA. In 7 less games, the same number of wins as Rosejack. So very impressive.
Yeah.
And then Vertigo, who had a 923 save percentage and 11 shutouts, which is just insane.
40 wins. 40 wins.
40 wins out of 40 of 48, which is absolutely mind-blowing.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He had more wins individually than 7 other teams had all season.
Yeah.
And the same number that Detroit had.
Yeah, that's it. He played out of his mind. Now, you can also make the same sort of argument for Vertigo as you did for Matt Smith. Kelowna was very dominant on the ice this season.
Yeah.
However,
and he did not face as many shots as his peers did.
Right. And the fact that Vertigo had 11 shutouts, like to me, it's just absolutely insane.
Right. And these 3 are also the top 3 in goals saved above average. Rosejack had a hair over 19, Damien Vertigo 17.37, and Chim Contendi with an unreal 26.947 goals saved above average.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. All of these guys are absolutely deserve to be here. They've each earned their way into this spot. And yes, Ziegel, we know Kelowna was better than QCC in the regular season, but the stats from Vertigo, he is the reason they were better. The play from Vertigo made Kelowna what they are, in my opinion, because no other goalie had anywhere close to the number of wins that he did.
That's very true.
The fact that he had a 923 save percentage in 40 wins with 11 11 shutouts is so many. It's just holy crap.
And Matt Smith only played 34 games, so that hurt his. I think that hurt him a bit as well,
Yep.
being in a strict platoon system, which Vertigo was in the year before. Like he was in a 50-50 sort
Yep.
of situation. And then this year he was sort of given the reins. And when what's his face went up to Edmonton, I should remember the name, but went to be their starting goalie.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Brian Morley in chat said, good goalie whose team made him look even better. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So who do you think takes this? Is it between Tendy and Vertigo then, or do you think Rosejack has an outside shot?
I think Rosejack could be in the mix, but because this is best goalie, I think Rosejack is a step back of the other two.
Uh-huh.
With what he meant to his team and just leading the league in save percentage and goals saved above average, I think I'm leaning towards Tendy, but I wouldn't be surprised to hear Vertigo won this. I'd probably vote for Tendy if it was me.
Okay. And the committee decided that Chimkin Tendy is your winner of the Cedric Robinson. With his 51 games played and a 927 save percentage. Is
Unreal.
like that save percentage is what won them the team save percentage. Like he was far and away when it came to saves the best goalie in the league.
Yeah. And in the nominations, there's one. Last season, he arguably deserved to win it. And he decided, you know what? Last season wasn't a fluke and led goalies in just almost everything that matters. Mm-hmm. So Tendy did great, but Chimkin Tendy is dead. Welcome Chimkin Wing to the press box for Buffalo.
That's right. Yeah, he this was his last season as a goalie. He took advantage of the free swap for goalies who decided they no longer wanted to play goalie. So he will be playing wing next season. Good luck, Chimkin Wing.
Well, maybe he'll be playing wing. I wonder if he'll be used like Junie Panda was, playing like 5 games all season.
Because, hey, you never know.
Yeah,
that's right.
That Buffalo's stacked.
That's right.
The Great Lakes are stacked. This is not about the Great Lakes. Let's move on.
That's right. We're gonna move on here.
Let's
on to the Vyacheslav Onoprienko trophy for the most.
Vyacheslav Onoprienko.
There you go. I'm Russian names are not my forte, so
they weren't in fees either. I could never get him to say that name.
That's right. Most underrated this season. The nominees are Lucas Lilia from Carolina, Dogwood Maple from Maine, and Yorick Bjerneson from St. Louis.
Named after one of my favorite characters from fiction.
There you go.
A giant armored polar bear. You can't hate that.
That's right. So starting at the top with Lilia so I have to say that underrated. I'm just gonna say shame on the JGMs for not providing more than, I think we had 5 noms.
Yeah, I think only 5 out of 12 teams nominated.
Yeah, shame on these JGMs for not putting in nominations for their team members. So, and congratulations to those who stood out to their GMs enough to get a nomination.
Yep. And we can explain that for people who don't know how this award is handled. About 10 seasons ago, I saw that this award was just a giant cluster, and we literally had 7 different people get first place votes, and no one had appeared on more than like 3 ballots. And I was like, this isn't working. So someone made a suggestion that we ask the JGMs to nominate one person from their team and send us a short write-up. And then the committee uses that short list of usually 10 to 12 names to vote upon our top 3 or 4.
Right. Do you want me to read the nominations from the GMs for each of these players?
Sure, we could go back and forth and each read one. I have to pull it up, but we can do that.
We'll start with, at the top with Lucas Lilia from Carolina. This is from the Carolina GMs. Player-wise, Lilia had a pretty fantastic year on a team that was just a little too young for an incredible season. It may seem odd that we're nominating the guy second in the Kraken point lead, but it definitely feels like he is a little overshadowed by Wolf, and maybe even Rart, the way he played this season. Lilia hasn't had much in recognition, but this season we feel he deserves it. He stood out statistically from many of our other players, and from a roster standpoint, could really play anywhere and do well. He ate big minutes on both the power play and penalty kill, and again, aside from Wolf, was one of the most important players there. As a user, Ritu has always been active and fun to have around in the locker room. He has leadership qualities that haven't been recognized with a letter, and has been shown to lend a helping hand to rookies and the like with hardly any ask or praise. Always around for game time, even when it wasn't so fun to be, and overall just a happy guy. He's been all we could want from a UDFA signing, that's for sure, and that is from the Carolina GMs.
Yep. And then I'll grab Dogwood Maple from the Mapleton the Maple Timber.
Mapleton Timber, the main timber.
Yes, the main timber. The Halifax. No, we're not going there.
No, don't go there.
Halifax Raiders never happened, but yeah. From the Maine Timber, Maine is nominating Dogwood Maple. It's no secret that Maine struggled this season, and despite being a 350 TP player, a lot of pressure is placed on Dogwood to become our number one center. He performed about as well as you could expect in a two-way role on a team that wasn't generating much offense. He got 40 points, doubling his rookie season, and was someone the team relied on throughout the season. While he was tied for a scoring lead on Maine, I still strongly feel that he's underrated, as Maine's scoring could easily go unnoticed from this season compared to other teams. More importantly, however, we're nominating Dogwood based on the impact he's made in our locker room. Some of you may be familiar with the Go Trees Go command on Twitch streams that has become a staple at each regular season sit. This is just one example of the positive attitude Dogwood carried throughout the entire season. Being a positive force in the locker room every single day really helps our team work through a tough season, and being a presence on each of the streams showed the league the energy our locker room had. I can't imagine this season without Dogwood, and I hope the committee will award him with the recognition he deserves.
Yep, absolutely. And I have to say that in the main Discord, he is always there, ready to answer questions, always ready for game time, always encouraging people to update, being there for people, which is very much what GMs look for, especially in a season that Maine had where it was a pretty depressing season, right? As the worst team in the league, it's hard to keep that energy. So definitely a good shout out.
I am disappointed that Newfoundland did not nominate the Big Yoshi.
That's right.
Vaseline Pod Calzone is the best.
That's right. And last but not least, Yorick Bjerneson from St. Louis. It seems to be a weird and difficult thing at times to be a goalie, especially in this league, and especially as an undrafted free agent rookie. Before Moody came into the league, our goaltender situation in St. Louis was rather unfortunate. Our main goalie for the future had unexpectedly had to take a break from the league, and we hadn't been able to draft or sign an active goalie up to that point. Despite joining the league and the team almost a month after the draft, Moody eased in and took capable command of the St. Louis net. They're also an absolute joy to talk to in the locker room and elsewhere. We have a lot of players that might be eligible for this award, were they on other teams, but I think Bjerneson is exceptional in that it's hard to imagine how we could cope as a team without him. We can move, change roles, and adjust time and tactics for skaters, but the goalie isn't the goalie. As the last couple of seasons have proven for us, good goalies are hard to find and even harder to replace. Given time, I think he'll gain the golden rate he's worth, but for now, he's the St. Louis Scarecrows Season 58 Onoprenko nominee. And that was from St. Louis.
Yep.
So we have those three nominations, all of them very, very worthy for the presence that they bring to the locker rooms, the presence that they bring on the ice. So it's definitely a difficult choice.
Yeah, it's definitely a difficult choice. And I'm pretty sure I know who won that from seeing the conversation. The committee appreciated all these people, but I know the conversations as they were deciding, they had one person that was head and shoulders above the rest.
Yep. And that person is?
The giant polar bear himself, Yorick Bjerneson.
That's
goalie
right.
For St. Louis.
Congratulations, Bjerneson, on your Onoprenko victory this season. Congratulations, St. Louis, for having such a positive and impactful player in your locker room.
Yes. But also congratulations to Dogwood Maple and Lucas Lilia, as well as
Absolutely.
the other people who were nominated that were, I'm going to pull up because I like to put it all out there. Kelowna nominated Danny C. For his contributions. I don't have it in front of me. And then QCC threw Trace Sombreros back in there.
Yep.
It's great to see someone go undrafted, come back and stick with it.
Yep. And I have to say that I'm kind of glad that Sombreros just barely missed out on this, because reading Evok's nomination, we would have been here for 20 minutes. It was one of the most well-written and long nominations that I've seen in my short time here. So
she's very good at that.
Yes, know that
Tig used to be. Be thankful that Tig Murphy is no longer a JGM, because part of
that's what I heard.
He wrote just incredible nominations every season. It was hard to not pick his players.
That's right. Yep, and it's definitely helpful that you have a GM that's willing to go to bat for you. So
yeah,
seeing that, congratulations on your win again, Bjerneson.
Is it guest star time?
It is. Jert, are you here?
Of course, I am.
Right.
I tried not dying when a Colorado Raptor won the Holmes, and it wasn't me. And I succeeded in not dying because I'm still here.
That's right. We're glad to have you and to introduce the all-rookie team for this season.
Yes, of course. Thanks, guys, for having me, and thanks to Mario, of course, to agree again to this little collaboration to give us a spot. So there you have them. There's no nominees and winners. There's only winners in the All-Star team. So for the forwards of the all-rookie team, actually, we have Lebron Brady from the St. Louis Scarecrow. Put up 31 points. 5th in scoring in his whole team as a rookie, so that's pretty impressive. A bit less time of ice than the other two in there, but good giveaway takeaway ratio. A little bit on the
sounds
one.
Like he deserved it, yeah, for sure.
Definitely deserved. Second one is Fedor Sodakov from the Colorado Raptors, 29 points, 6 in his team. Lots of good stuff from Sadakov too. A lot of hits, actually. And Alexis Saint-Michel. I should say it with the French pronunciation. I'm French, so Alexis Saint-Michel.
There you go.
Hello to all my friends from Le Club Complotiste Francophone. If you're still here.
Oh, I'm sure they are.
And so yeah, Saint Michel, 38 points. Not much power play time on the ice to get these points. So 5th on the team in Vancouver, still as a rookie. For defensemen, you have Alexanders, Bossers, and Sekai Walker. Bossers obviously playing on a very strong team in Newfoundland. Put up a lot of points. Played close to 20 minutes a game.
Impressive for a rookie, for sure.
And Sekai Walker, even more than that, played almost 23 minutes a game for a rookie. 4th in points in the team. Tied with Terrell. And even took 12 face-off and managed to keep a 50% success rate.
There you go. Impressive for a defenseman. There you go.
Yeah.
And for the goalie, we have Bloody Oath, second goalie in Maine behind the bigger for you. Only four wins to his name, but got some decent stat, over 900, .900 in the save percentage column. So definitely, and I'm sure you'll talk about at least one or two of these guys for the Reconon that's just following. So yeah, good job to everyone on the all-rookie
Absolutely.
team.
Yes,
I think it's
congratulations to these players on making the all-rookie team. Definitely an honor.
Yeah, it's a great group because like Wolker was a top pairing defenseman, and Balcers was a really great defenseman all around.
Yep.
Brady, Sodakov, and Saint Michel were all really good. Saint Michel was the top scorer amongst rookies, and at the halfway point, Fedor Sodakov was the runaway lead to potentially get the Reconon and slowed down a little bit on the back half. So
Also, Trips, I'm kind of disappointed you didn't ask me what I was drinking.
I'm so sorry. Hey, what are you drinking, my good friend?
It's called whatever my roommate had left in the fridge.
That is the best kind of beer I find.
Incredible, incredible.
Thank you. I'm so sorry.
Well, we're glad you could join us, and Jared's going to be joining us for the rest of this presentation. So we're going to be able to get his opinion on these noms as well. So,
yes.
And to continue with the rookies, our next award is the Asa Reconon Trophy for Top Rookie. And you'll recognize these three names as they were just on the last slide. We have Alexanders Balcers from Newfoundland. We have Alexis Saint-Michel from Vancouver. Sorry if I butchered the French pronunciation. I don't speak French. And Lebron Brady from St. Louis.
Yeah.
What do we have to say about these guys?
Sure.
That hasn't been said already in the nominations or the rookie team.
Yeah, Balcers and Saint Michel were the top. I'm pretty sure the top two scorers among rookies. Balcers had an outstanding rookie season. His advanced stats were also really, really good. Yeah, most of his points came at even strength. He wasn't playing a lot of power play time and played 19 minutes as a rookie, so a solid second down to third pairing guy.
Yep.
He had almost as much offense as Saint Michel as a defenseman, so gotta love that.
Yeah.
Saint Michel also didn't see a lot of power play time, but had 73 hits along with the rookie leading 38 points. 18 goals may have led all rookies. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have that in front of me.
I can't remember.
Right. And then Brady also was real good. He was one of the better players on a not as good St. Louis squad. His advanced stats are pretty weak because he was on a bad team, but
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Impressive to say that back to Balcers. Apparently had a 1.3 GA per 60 compared to a 3.5 goals for per 60, which is that ratio is incredible. That like more than a point separate or more than 2 points separating that, like that's and apparently Balcers was on a rookie D pair, so in order to get those stats, he was with another rookie, which is just absolutely like they blew the other rookies out of the water. Partner Sabaro Toretta.
Right.
That's right.
And there's something to be said for having a GM that puts a player into a position to succeed.
Absolutely.
Looking back to Defenseman of the Year, Maximov, he doesn't need to be a shutdown guy. They just let him go out there, rove, and score like heck, and it works for him. So.
Yep. And a big shout out to Saint Michel, who I forgot about this, and thank you for Steve-O is cool for pointing this out, that he had back-to-back hat tricks at one point during the season.
I did not know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, just absolutely incredible. He was the leader of the rookie in points with 38, more than 70 hits. not great giveaway to takeaway ratio, but he's a rookie, so there's a chance to improve that. And a decent just over 16 minutes time on ice.
Yep. I want to give shout outs to 2 players who aren't here on this list. One other person that got some votes but wasn't a finalist was Kappa, the defenseman on QCC, which his 25 points as a rookie defenseman are good, but could also be inflated a little bit being on such a great team. But 75 hits, 30 blocks. He played a good amount on the PK, so good offensive, good defensive. So we could see Kappa jumping in on some other awards next season too. And then
absolutely, yep.
I'm going to say it because I'm this far in, so I have to do it. Federer Sodakov was one of the best rookies the first half of the season, and then he was playing on a Colorado team that was really playing a super balanced attack.
Yep.
And so but back half of the season, he was playing against the other team's best players and still finished the season with 29 points, playing on the top line with former MVP candidates Jarmo Kekalainen and Josh Dolphin. So
that's right. Yeah, no, he had a very, very good season.
Yep. I'll be interested to see how the mix of the draft and his first season, how he comes back as a sophomore.
Yeah, I think he's incredibly motivated to be one of the best offensive forces in the league in the next few seasons. It'll be we'll watch his career with great interest.
Yes.
Especially as the co-GM of the team that picked him up in the draft. So we're very, very much interested to see how he grows. So
for sure.
Who do you think? Oh, Jert, do you have anything else to say about these guys?
I think we covered it all, really.
All right.
With the all-rookie team and then the nominations.
Yep. Do you have a guess of who's going to take it home?
I want to guess Alexei and not Alexander, but that's a wild guess.
Okay. Trips, who do you think?
Cassius Darrow is going into his 16th season as a defenseman. We all know that I have a soft spot for a good defenseman. Head-to-head, I'm always going to lean the defenseman over the forward when the points totals are similar. I'm going Balsers.
Alrighty. And the committee agrees with Trips. Alexander's Balsers wins the on Reconon. Congratulations to Balsers from Newfoundland.
I find it super interesting that I think this is really showing some of the conversations that have come since the SHL draft that just because you have a great performance in your rookie season doesn't mean that you're a top prospect for the next league.
Yep.
Because I don't think any of these three or St. Michel was a first round pick, right?
Yes, I think he went in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think he was Brady, 9 or 8.
Brady and Balsers were both second round picks.
Yep. Yep. So definitely interesting to see how the committee went on that one. So.
Yep.
Alrighty. And now we take a little bit of a break to introduce the SMJHL All-Stars second team. Jert, what do you have to say?
I just pulled them out just to complete. Saint Michel was 9. Balsers was first overall, and well in the G draft that is.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
And yeah, so second All-Star team, we have Igor Petrov from the Quebec City Citadels. Obviously, we've talked about how the Citadels were a force this season, and Petrov was a good part of that on a very strong line with Zenko Birenik, and Mewtwo.
Yep.
Then we have Basso Bigbers. I'm not sure about that.
I think it's Basso Bigbers, but I could be wrong.
So we'll go with that. On the Newfoundland, the 2 other forwards are from Newfoundland, actually. Bigbers and Rick Charlesworth, both with over 50 points. A lot of shots, especially for Big Burst. Obviously, everything you want an all-star to do.
Yep.
So, yeah. And as for defensemen, you've talked a lot about both of these, especially Sean Gates on the main timber, who managed to put up 30 points despite being on a very struggling team. Played almost 25 minutes a game and still managed a pretty strong Corsi 4 relative stat. And Giannopoulos, lots of points, helped offensively. So yeah, and obviously was pretty strong.
Yep.
To defensively, and in net for goalie we have Damien Vertigo. I think one of the defining factors was a very strong stat in goals saved above average with 19.43 goals saved above average.
Yep.
Which,
yeah,
if you're familiar, that's a lot. In comparison, Matt Smith had 7.75, and he's overall regarded as a very strong goalie. So Damien Vertigo did a very great job, saving more goals than the average goalie would have on his team. So the successes in Kelowna are definitely not entirely due to the attack and defense.
Yep, absolutely.
So there you get the second All-Star team for this season in the SMJHL.
Yeah. We'll see the first team in a little bit. All of these guys absolutely played fantastic seasons, especially for those that were on strong playoff teams such as Quebec City and Kelowna. So it's good to see them recognized for their hard work during the regular season.
For sure.
Move on to the Raymond Lindsay. This is the Players MVP. So this was
No. It is not the Players MVP. It is the player voted most outstanding.
That's right. We did change that. That's right. That is my fault.
That's fine. That is something that I had been talking about and pushing for a while, and I brought it up to Mateo, and he was like, "Yeah, let's do it." So the Raymond Lindsay is the most outstanding player as voted by the players. And the Fala is going to be the MVP as awarded by the committee.
The committee, that's right. That is my mistake.
No worries.
I forgot to change that. So, with that in mind, we actually have 4 nominees for this. These nominees received more votes than everyone else, proportionally to everyone else. So, I think there were 35 people that received votes. Overall, a lot of them received 1 vote, and then these 4 received proportionately more than everyone else. So we have Mewtwo from Quebec City, Kinwill Pierce from Kelowna, Damien Vertigo also from Kelowna, and Chimkin Tendi from Anchorage. And I think it's very interesting that we have 2 goalies on this list.
Right. And 2 different sort of goalies.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And we've already talked about the goalie stats in our discussion for best goalie. What makes these other 2 players stand out in your mind?
I think scoring 43 goals, which I think was 9 higher than anyone else, really sets Kinwill Pierce apart. That's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Mewtwo, like we talked about earlier, had one of the biggest jumps we've almost ever seen. He led the league in scoring with 69 points. Throw some nices in the chat for me.
That's right.
And he did all that playing less than 17 minutes a game. And so Mewtwo was a... Go on.
I want to say, how do you think the league voted? Do you think they thought about this as the most outstanding player as voted by the league, or do you think they voted as the mob mentality that they normally do and just went points leader?
Well, considering in the document with the write-ups, I have the results of this one. I know the results.
Right.
But so I'll be quiet and let Jert say what he thinks.
Putting you on the spot, Jert.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this.
Surprise.
Obviously it's a tough call. And I don't want to spoil anything about the all-star teams, but one could probably assume anyways that most of these guys will end up on either of the second or first team.
Right.
So
we already saw Vertigo on the second team. So
Right.
So make your assumptions.
I wonder who the first team goalie is going to be.
I will say that if it was the mob mentality, you would think that Pierce and Vertigo would split the Kelowna faithful, and then Mewtwo, being the top scorer, could run away with this.
It's definitely possible.
And he did score 69 points.
Nice.
So
Nice.
Knowing the SHL, we know that's nice, and we know that's going to be enough to convince people to vote for him.
Well, and we'll find out how the people voted. They actually did not go for the meme vote, and they took Kinwell Pierce as the most outstanding player as voted by the league. Congratulations to Kinwell Pierce from Kelowna.
43 goals. 43 goals is hard to fight. That's insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. He had an absolutely monster season. Yep. Alrighty, on to the next one. We have the Elias Armia Award, the Commissioner's Award of Excellence. Now, I have the write-ups for this. This is Bad Wolf, who is the SMJHL Commissioner, chooses 3 people who stands out in her mind as the most excellent of the players in the J. These people stand out for their locker room presence, their activity on the site, their ability to bring excellence to the SMJHL. So I have her reasonings, and we're going to go in. So the 3 nominations are Ziegel from Quebec City, that's Mewtwo, Wildfire Micro, player Jack Micro from Anaheim, and Zoot TX, Miguel Hefeweizen from Maine. She says about Ziegel, he's been a very passionate user, a second-time nominee, and he's very active within the QCC locker room and even is in their war room. It's dedication that she loves to see from a younger user.
Including trying to shit-talk me on stream last year for not voting Quebec City for everything.
Yes, he's always...
Love the passion.
He's always very active in the sim chats.
I have no doubt.
He's active in this chat right now. We see you, Ziegel. Congratulations on your nom. Our next nomination is Wildfire Micro. Bad Wolf says he was very quick to jump into media, making a splash with his quality storytelling. Very much a media presence on the site, which apparently has a very... it stood out to Bad Wolf as someone who has dedicated his bringing excellence to the media section of the site.
And I'm pretty sure Wildfire Micro is a recreate. I think he created as a goalie a few seasons ago and didn't last very long. So it's always good to see somebody come back and do some good stuff, their second player.
Yep, he took a little bit of a break. He's one of my teammates over in the ISFL.
Gotcha.
He's great to have in the locker room. Always very active, very helpful. So it's great to see him get this nomination. And then we have our last nomination, Zoot TX. Bad Wolf says he's been amazing in both the main locker room as well as the Season 59 chat. So it's good to see that these younger guys getting the nominations for being active in the rookie chat, not just in their own locker room. So they're helping their other fellow rookies get into the site, being that positive presence Overall, she says these three have done amazing things. It's clear they are loved within the community, and I hope they keep it up. That being said, due to their devotion to the SMJHL, she was able to narrow it down to one. Who do you think it is? Anybody?
I'm reading the same thing you're reading, so.
So you know.
Yes. Well, I had to look at it to be able to prep myself for.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jert, out of those, do you have a guess? Just a wild guess. No? All right. So, congratulations to Ziegel for winning the Elias Armia Award this season.
God damn it, my mic didn't unmute.
Oh no.
Sorry. But yeah, no, congratulations to Ziegel. It definitely feels that you've stood out, and I have to say that your presence in the chats for The Sims always bring a smile to my face because it's always so entertaining to have you around. So, congratulations.
For the record, I did say Ziegel while my mic was muted because, well, he's actually the only one I've had any interaction with. But yeah.
Well, there you go. Alrighty, on to the next one. Oh yes, now we're on to our first team of All-Stars.
Yeah, is this working now?
Yep, you're loud and clear.
All right, so for the first team, we had actually a bit of a, and I can never thank script enough for this because I had a little mistake in my Google sheet, and Robert Snatch completely fell off. The first place votes were counted as 0 points. So we didn't have him, but obviously Felter Snatch and Maximov as defensemen. You've talked about both of them a lot for the Gante.
Mm-hmm.
So and
we also see Kenville Pierce and Mewtwo in here as well as Chip Contendi. What do you have to say about Zenko Birenik, who we haven't talked about tonight?
Well, Zenko Birenik actually had a great season last season, and also was there. I was kind of surprised that you never talked about him. Maybe he was kind of overshadowed by the fact that Mewtwo was there, but 65 points still puts him tied for the second place in points and a whole 8 points ahead of the closest player.
True. Right. Yeah.
So played a lot of time, over 3 minutes of power play a game. Then really he was the setup guy for Mewtwo all this season. So I think that's why he stood out for the All-Star committee. And as for Chim Contendi, well, we talked about goal save above average for Vertigo earlier. Chim Contendi had a goal save above average of 26.95. That's almost 27 goals he saved that the average goalie wouldn't have.
Yeah, absolutely so incredible.
And we've had some people talking about Vertigo's shutouts, and it's true that it's very impressive, but 27 goals that your average goalie wouldn't have stopped. It's
this is the clear choice for the first team. Yep.
Shout out to Yano Rosejack, who had 17.37 too, and all the other things you said when he was nominated.
Yep.
For the best goalie award, but you didn't mention that, so that was a pretty good stat in that category. So I guess that's it for the first team of the All-Stars.
Yes, congratulations to these 6 players for making
sure.
the first team.
As one person,
Yeah,
sorry,
go
go on. As one person made a joke in the chat, say hello to your Kelowna Citadels, as 5 out of the 6 are from that.
That's right. Yeah. Well, I have to say with these teams absolutely dominating, it's hard to say that other teams should have players in here when these are clearly the all-stars of the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
mean, there are definitely arguments for other players. However,
you always like to see standouts on other teams that might not have the support, because
absolutely.
Quebec had 10 40-point scorers. 10 of them. And so I think that's
insane.
part of how Birenik sort of disappeared and wasn't really talked about for a lot of other awards. But yeah, I mean, this is a great team. I have no problems with this team, but it's always good to see people represented from around the league.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. Alrighty. Second to last, we have our Brody Witzel trophy, the playoffs MVP.
For sure.
We have 3 nominations. We have Trace Sombreros from Quebec City. We have Matt Smith from Quebec City. And we have Pablo Salvatierra from Anchorage Armada. So these 3 players stand out to you. Why?
Sorry, I couldn't read the stats because I turned the chat on my TV. Yeah, I'm watching the live stream on my TV to be able to see the things that Smith's got up there.
That's right.
Sombreros and Salvatierra tied for point lead, which you gotta love.
Yep.
6 goals in 17 games is pretty awesome, and pretty much Sombreros was almost a point a game player for Quebec on their way in, so that's nice. Salvatierra was the top goal scorer on the team that finished just short. He played over 20 minutes a night. That actually makes Trace Sombreros even more impressive because he played a little under 16 minutes and put up a lot of points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you got Matt Smith. Those numbers are incredible.
Absolutely. Just almost a 940 save percentage.
5 shutouts. That's crazy.
Yeah. And the best save percentage in the FHM area for a player who made the finals.
Wow.
Like, if you think about that, that's what now 6 seasons?
Something like that. So, that includes Jobin's insane season
that
the year they won.
Bloomy's insane run with Maine.
Yeah. That includes last season where
was it
Chim Contendi stood on his head.
Yep, absolutely. The entire series. Yeah, and Smith beat them all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it might have been close, but not that close. Like, his play this playoffs was incredible.
Yeah.
I think that the other I have to say Salvatierra did an incredible job. He was definitely part of the reason that Anchorage went to the finals. But Trace Sombreros had the same number of points in fewer games.
Right.
Like, it's hard to say, yeah, he scored 16 points, but so did Sombreros in, 4 less games. So it's if I had to pick one, it would probably be Smith or Sombreros, right? Because not only did QCC win, but both of these players played out of their minds.
For sure. I was trying to pull something else for see other names.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to say about these guys?
We don't do playoffs in the All-Star committee, so I don't think.
Stay in your lane. For
That's
me,
right.
Looking at these stats, I think Matt Smith is head and shoulders. I would have been interested to see if Igor Petrov got any votes with his, I'm pretty sure 8. We can't check leaders anymore with the new index, but 8 goals in the playoffs is pretty darn impressive, and I think that probably led, even if he had a couple fewer points. But
Yeah.
for me, this should be Matt Smith. This really should be Matt Smith.
I tend to agree with you, but we'll see what the committee says.
Yeah, did the committee agree?
Did the committee agree that Matt Smith deserves this? They did not. They think that Tres Sombreros, with his 16 points in 17 games, won this this award. Congratulations to Tres Sombreros. You had an outstanding playoff run with Quebec City.
He got something finally.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because last season he was like, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering, he was second to you for most dedicated, and then
I think
was
so,
also right there in the mix for most underrated.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Congrats to Tres Sombreros.
Yes, absolutely. And for our final award, the Ideen Follow Trophy, the award committee MVP. So we've seen these names before. We have Chim Contendi from Anchorage, Mewtwo from Quebec City, and Kenwill Pierce from Kelowna.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we need to say anything more about these guys before we find out who the winner is, or has it all been covered?
I mean, I think we've said almost everything to say about them. However, when you look at this, when I think about MVPs, I think about if you took that player off the team, how would that change the way this team operated?
Absolutely.
And in fact, Kenwill Pierce finished second on my ballot for MVP last season.
True.
And I wish I pulled up, because I put him there because I thought he was the most important player in getting that Kelowna team's motor running, even though he didn't have as much off. He set the tone as a two-way force for that team. Let them in scoring, but really was the key to their really great defensive system.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they had him stop having to do as much defensively and really just let loose offensively, and we see the results.
Right.
Mewtwo stepped out, but as I said earlier, Quebec had 10 players with 40 or more points, I think 5 or 6 50-point scorers, so Mewtwo was a dominant force, had a great season, but I think he's probably, for me, a step behind the other two because Tendi is an absolute force of nature.
Yep. And Pierce just absolutely lit up the goal this season, so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So.
All right.
But I think all three I think these are the right finalists. Others are certainly, I think Yano Rosejack deserves a sort of like a dark horse. Because of how balanced Colorado was, I think he definitely was a powerful force in helping that team be as successful as they were without having that breakout scorer. But
yeah,
I don't know that I could put him in over any of these other guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So you think that Pierce takes it, or do you think Tendi takes it?
I think with what I know of either of them are deserving. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the committee picked Pierce just because there's still that there's a bias against giving goalies regular season MVP. In playoffs, in the playoff MVP the last 10 seasons or so, especially in FHM, goalies pretty consistently win playoff MVP, but when it comes to regular season, the committee, especially with some newer guys still figuring out how to look at this stuff, right. I think Pierce took this.
Alrighty. And the committee awards the Ideen Fala Trophy to Kenwill Pierce. Congratulations, Kenwill Pierce from Kelowna. You win the award committee MVP. Well deserved. Absolutely. And with that, we have finished up the Season 58 SMJHL Awards. How do you think it went?
I think it went solidly.
I think so too. I hope people aren't too upset about who won what. I think aside from one or two questionable decisions, the committee was pretty fair with their voting this season.
Yep. I meant to do the math. Last season, for the first time in probably my entire time running the committee, every single team had at least one finalist for an award. Yep. I'm not sure if this season the same thing came through.
Who didn't we see?
I don't know.
I don't think did we see any Detroit finalists?
Yep, Giannopoulos.
Oh, that's right,
Yeah.
Giannopoulos. Did we see?
I don't know if we saw any. Or Jack Micro was
Was Anaheim?
Anaheim.
We had
Carolina had somebody. Colorado, Anchorage clearly had people.
Yeah, we had
Maine
one
had
from
somebody.
Carolina.
St. Louis got somebody. Yeah, I think.
I think we did it again this season. Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Good job. Way to spread the love, people.
Yes.
Who was the Battleborn?
Vili
Vili
Tugatuga
Boatu.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He plays for Nevada. So,
for now.
Yep. Oh yeah, Teddy was plays for Detroit. I forgot about that.
Oh yes, Teddy. Yes, the original version of the post had Teddy as a whaler, which is a common mistake because.
That's right. That's
But
right.
Yeah.
Do we have anything else to say? Chat, thank you for hanging out. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys were able to hang out and watch with us. Hopefully we did all right. And I think Teo is going to be posting vote totals in the post at some point tonight.
Maybe
tomorrow.
May the community be nicer to Mateo's DMs tonight than they were to me and S58.
I think that the votes were relatively fair. So and I think everyone that got nominated was definitely, aside from one or two, were
solid choices.
Solid choices all around. Yeah. So hopefully people aren't too salty. Just remember we're all human. So this is a celebration of these people, not an attack on you or your friends. So just remember that. And again, congratulations to all our winners tonight. Excellent seasons. And we'll see you all in about a week for the season 59 preseason. Be sure to tune in on Sunday for the SMJHL draft, which should be on this channel. So you should be able to tune in for that. Do we have anything else?
Not that I can think of.
Alrighty. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Really appreciate it. See you next season.